So I've been playing the Not So Berry Challenge for about 5 years now, and since 2017, when Little Simsy and Always Simming made this challenge, I've been really reconnecting myself with gameplay in The Sims 4, but also understanding how to do the careers and the skills and the collectibles and pretty much how to do storytelling each and every gen. Now, I've already completed all 10 generations of the original rules, but my friend Nixel here on YouTube made 3 extra generations for her own Pacific gameplay, and she's made her own Let's Play out of it as well. And I wanted to follow the rules of how she did it, but with my Sims. And so I'm currently on generation 13, which is the last generation of the extended version before I move on to greener pastures of extra generations after Gen 13. But the twist is that Generation 13 is a vampire and is named Renesmee, whose mother is named Bella, and their grand uncle is named Jacob, but their whole family is basically werewolves, and Renesmee is the only vampire, and so she's been exiled from Moonwood Mill to go all the way back to Glimmerbrook, which is the magic world that we got with Realm of Magic. Now, personally, when I was building this house on stream, I actually was going to build it for the Grim Reaper, but then I realized halfway through when building, it was already all black, it all made perfect sense, and I'm like, wait, let me use this house for the Not So Berry challenge for Gen 13 to, kill two birds with one stone kind of scenario, kind of way. And what I love so much about this house, it is in Glimmerbrook, which is a world that I never really tend to live in or go to ever since we got Realm of Magic. And I found that spellcasters were not my favorite occult, but I wanted to give Renesmee a place to live that wasn't really vampire related or werewolf related, but had a sense of purpose where she can thrive and be her own person, but kind of just explore the world in a different way. And I feel as spellcasters and vampires probably could get along. And when I think of vampires and spellcasters, I think of Vampire Diaries, was, Bonnie Bennett and Damon and, Stefan Salvatore, and of course Elena and Caroline and Catherine, the whole people in the TVD, world. But I find as with this house specifically, I wanted to make it very abandoned and very run down and just old and decrepit to fit the whole vampire feel, but especially kind of make it, not really livable, but livable if that makes sense. And so instead of using a bed, I used a coffin in the bedroom, and it's only a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom home, and the kitchen, living room, and dining room are all open planned. And I have like a seance table, and I have all this like other wacky, crazy stuff in here. And I just wanted to go full out with everything and just make something fun for once, especially since it is the last generation of the Not So Berry Challenge through the extended version. And I want to read you the rules and also just all the things that I have to do for this generation, just in case if you're curious. So for Generation 13, there's a whole backstory for it that my friend Nixel made, and it says, books. You love them. You always enjoyed a good read that you could always take on a journey to a whole new fantasy world. So naturally, starting a book club at school to share your love for reading was the thing to do. Thanks to the club, it brought you your best friend, who you later fell in love with and got engaged to. Instead of going off to university like everyone else, you got convinced to join the military, but that didn't last long, so you quit and went off to study physiology. Whilst away in uni, you discovered the Encyclopedia of Vampira and got extremely curious about vampires, to the point where you took a trip over to Forgotten Hollow to find out if they were real. You ended up meeting a vampire who became completely mesmerized with and fell in love so quick as if you were put under a spell. This is where you decide to ask, can I be turned into one? Without hesitation, their teeth sink into your neck, and the process of you turning has begun. You decide to drop out of university and call off the engagement because you fell in love with another and want to live out your vampire life. Becoming a Simlish online teacher as your only option after dropping out of uni and was working from home, you had more time to yourself, so you started writing your own books. Unfortunately, your job started to feel mundane. So you have a bright idea of running your own business. Not being able to have any children as always upset you, but with your new powers, creating your own vampire family is the one step away. And I feel like that's like really, really cool because with Renesmee, she is a vampire and she can't really have any kids, and vampires cannot have kids, but werewolf could. And what's so interesting about Renesmee is that since she lives now in Glimmerbrook, like she traveled to Forgotten Hollow, she lived in Moonwood Mill, and now lives in a whole new fantasy world, and she wants to be able to document her life the way she wants to do it through books. And starting a book club in her younger years as a kid allowed her to give that sense of excitement and sense of passion to tell stories her way and not her parents' way. Because her parents and her grandparents, her great grandparents, all had a way of living that wasn't the vampire way. And when they found out that their, newfound person in their legacy was a vampire, they were thinking, I don't think this is the right one for us. Maybe we should let this play it out and see what happens. Maybe they're not a vampire. Maybe there's a whole, hoax or whatever. Little they found out is when Renesmee aged up into a lovely child, they basically disowned her, and now everyone in her family hates her for becoming a vampire. And when she became a teenager, she was exiled, and now she's on her own by herself. But luckily, she did graduate early from high school recently because I've been playing it on Twitch lately. And since they graduated early, we can work on their books and their skills and also fall in love with somebody from our book club. And that I cannot wait to fall in love with and hopefully get engaged to, and then call off the engagement and then create my own vampire, army is what I want to do. But for all the rules and the traits, basically, you have to have the bookworm aspiration, cheerful. But for the traits, you need bookworm, cheerful, and insider, the master vampire aspiration, and join the military, education, and business owner careers. But essentially, you quit military and you quit education and become a business owner at the end. But for all the goals, now this is where it gets really, really tricky and a lot of work. You start a book club as a kid and meet them at least once a week. Get engaged to your best friend shortly after aging up into a young adult. Join the military career, reach level 5, then quit. Go off to university to study physiology, drop out your first semester. Fall in love with a vampire, ask him to turn you. Break off the engagement after you drop out of university. Master bowling, vampire lore, and pipe organ skill. Join the education career at level 4, then quit and only work from home. Write and publish books, at least 5 of them. Complete the aspiration, the vampire, master vampire aspiration. Don't have kids or adopt. Instead, create your own vampire family of Sims you turn, at least 2 of them. And run your own business. Now, I don't technically want to end the legacy. I want to be able to continue, the family lineage to see how far I can go without my game breaking on me. But it says if you want to end the legacy, you can burn to death from the exposure of the sun, or you can just, work on your vampiric powers and live and not burn from the sun and continue your legacy as you would do. Now, there's one specific person in my Twitch stream who is always there all the time, and they go by the name Black Rose. Now, the last time that I remember, they were on generation, I think, 89, but they're now on generation 90, I think, which is literally insane. I don't think I've ever, in my life, have come across of a person who has ever gotten to that many generations. But I think they're actually doing it on short lifespans, so things go very, very quickly. As for me, I play on normal lifespan, so it goes a little bit slower at my own pace. But I have considered, after Gen 13, I want to do the Career Legacy Challenge made by my friend Rochella, but do it on a short lifespan to see how far I can go with the careers, but also the general, short lifespan idea. Because I want to be able to get up to 100 generations in The Sims 4, because there's an achievement in the game where it says if you achieve 100 generations in a single family, you get an achievement. And I like working towards something, and when I'm able to complete a goal, I get excited. I'm like, what's the next one? What can I do next? And having this legacy challenge from 5 years ago and still doing it till this day, it's made me dedicated to make my own challenge, but also dedicated myself to really change the way I do my gameplay, but always tie a story to it. So it's just not mundane and just straightforward and nothing really working towards something. But let me know down in the comments below. Have you played the Not So Berry Challenge before? If you have, let me know, because I would love to know. If you haven't, you should. Because I believe the original rules, all you really technically need is get to work and city living. and I think maybe one other pack, but I think those are the only two expansions you need technically. And the base game's free, so there's some good stuff out there. But I also will link down below a base game version of the Not So Berry Challenge, just in case if you don't have any packs whatsoever, but you want to try out the whole like Not So Berry idea. And then you work your way up to, the other packs if you want them. But for this house specifically, when I was building it on stream, I got a lot of ideas from you all, because whenever I build on stream, I ask for help every chance I get, and you all give me the best ideas. So if you ever want to appear in my Twitch streams and you want to help me with a build or just hang out for a fun 3-hour time, it's always there, link down below. I stream on Twitch every single day. It's just SpringSims, same as my YouTube name, my Twitter name, my Instagram, all the other stuff on social media. But I really enjoy streaming, because without streaming, I feel like I would just be stuck. And being able to have this new avenue of interaction and gameplay, but in real time, is more exciting, because I get genuine feedback from you all in real time, but also you all get to enjoy whatever we're doing that day, but also we just get to hang out sometimes, and that's what I live for. That's what I enjoy. But for the future of the Not So Berry after Gen 13, we're going to roll a dice and see what career we're going to be on for Gen 14 to transition into the Career Legacy Challenge. And I don't know, being able to see the generations progress over the past, but for the future of the Not So Berry after Gen 13, we're going to roll a dice and see what career we're going to be on for Gen 14 to transition into the Career Legacy Challenge. And I don't know, being able to see the generations progress over the past 5 years of gameplay, the genetics of each sim has pretty much stayed the same, but has changed dramatically over the course of like 13 gens. But I'm seeing some similarities of Gen 13 and Gen 1, and I kind of like that. So I will probably make a whole video once I'm done with Gen 13 and showcasing like Gen 1 and all of the Gen 13 with like some screenshots and like some memories of like going down a trip down memory lane type of moment. And I want to see how far I can go with that, because I don't know, I can't imagine having 100 generations of one family and really sticking with it for this long. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm just really genuinely excited to see just how far I can take this family and see where they will last. And hopefully this will last until the end of the Sims 4 era, until we get the Sims 5, because I'm telling you, Sims 4 is going nowhere. I feel like we have a lot more years of Sims 4, and it's going to take some time, and that's okay. If I have to do it short lifespan, so be it. Plus, honestly, it goes quicker, so it might be the best for short lifespan and not normal, because normal is good and bad, depending on what you do. But regardless, let's go ahead and get into the real-time tour of this build so you can kind of see the whole idea of what I'm working with in Glimmerbrook for Renesmee, and just kind of embrace the moment is what I'm trying to say. Embrace the moment. Honestly, I have to say, with this home specifically, I really like it, because one, I built it on Halloween, and two, I had you all help me build this on stream, like what to add, what to put, all the general, ideas that you had really helped make this build come to life, especially for a sim Renesmee who so happens to be Gen 13 and is a vampire. But what's funny is that their ancestors and relatives are all werewolves, so they kind of disowned her, and now Renesmee lives here. Now, the idea initially was for the Grim Reaper, since it was Halloween, and I wanted to make a very abandoned looking home for him, since Grim is dead, and so is Renesmee. They're both undead people, and they just needed a home to live in, and Renesmee took this over of Grim after a couple of, eons ago, and now she lives here, and I think it looks lovely. Now, the outside, I really wanted to go with something like overgrown and crazy, and right now in the game it's fall, so the plants look even more dead, which is like wonderful. And the side yard also, I wanted to make sure I had all these graves, and of course, the evil chicken coops with all the evil chickens. Like, I have the black evil rooster and the black hen, and I think these are also obsidian eggs, so they'll eventually grow into, I think, black hens or evil chickens or whatever. but I had this over here because it seemed really cool, and chickens are evil and you can die from being attacked by a chicken in this game. I also have some mushrooms on the side. I also have some plasma fruit trees for my vampire. And this bench right here, something that I noticed, it's from Cottage Living. And if you click on it, you can actually travel literally anywhere in the world as long as you have like, the world's accessible to you in the game. And I think it's like a really good mode of transportation, like you're waiting for the bus to pick you up on the side of the road. And I kind of forgot that existed. And if you didn't know that, now you know. And now I want to make a bus station because of this. And I just might do it eventually in the future. But beside the point, this home is wonderful and I love it. So for the interior, I wanted to keep it relatively small, but open and closed off at the same time, because I feel like with abandoned builds, you have so much going on in each room that you want to make sure it's not too much without being too little. And I find that with the kitchen, the living room, and like the seance table right here, it's like a perfect mix between the two. But for the entrance area, I realized this mirror is no longer usable because we're a vampire and we can't really see our reflection in the mirror at all. But it did look nice and it did fill in the space for the time being. But our entrance area is pretty much, it is what it is. We have our dog named Speckle, who's now an elder, and we found them in Moonwood Mill at the time when they were a wee young adult. And I find that so cute, but now we have them in our home for the next several sim weeks, I hope. But for the living room, I really like this area because I love that fireplace. And I forgot you can actually put things on each side of this fireplace that came with the paranormal stuff pack. And it just it's a very nice put together room with that abandoned, old and decrepit look and feel that I wanted. And I don't know about you, but the whole black color scheme here really just looks nice. And I'm even wearing a black shirt as well, which is like perfect. But for the bedroom, I really like this room as well because we have a coffin, we have our dresser, we even have like a bunch of cobwebs and scratches and moss on the wall and floor. And something unique about this bedroom is that the coffin is so expensive but so worth it. But also these Strangerville mother plants, this one specifically, actually glows like every once in a while. But then these cobwebs all have spiders on them. Now for the bathroom, I really didn't do much in here because I find that these rooms specifically are not my favorite thing to do because you can't really do much. And I feel like the bigger the room, the more stress is added on for the builder. At least for me it is, because I get stumped on ideas for building, especially for a bathroom this small or however big it might be. And then in this room over here, I have like the office because that's where Renesmee is going to write her books. And also like chit chat with people online, make friends, earn money, earn fame, do the whole spiel as a famous one day vampire. Bigger than, Edward, bigger than Jacob, bigger than life, because Renesmee is top tier quality, just like her grandfather in Twilight, Charlie. But this is the home and I hope you all enjoy it. If you all want to download it off of the gallery, my gallery ID is just SpringSims, or you can find it under the hashtag SpringSims along with my other builds and sims I make here on YouTube pretty much every single day. But either way, as always, do let me know down in the comments below as always of what you thought of today's build. Especially let me know what you think. Team Charlie or Team Renesmee? That's all I want to know. But either who, I hope you all enjoyed it and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!